That would mess me up.
Okay.
Hey, this is Dennis Tyrell from Tyrell Knifeworks, and you're listening to the Triple T podcast. As always, I got my buddy Jerid from Echo Blades. All right.
Okay.
I just wanted to give my little grunty friend a shout out there. What's up, everybody? This is Jerid from Echo Blades, and you are listening to the Triple T podcast for knife makers. I got Mr. Grunty himself in the house, Dennis Tyrell. How the hell are you, buddy?
All right, touche. I'll take that one.
That was good, right?
Were we talking about that off the air last week?
I think so.
Yeah.
Or maybe no. I think I got a little bit of it in. No, somebody sent me a message that they were. Yeah. There was an extremely long pause after your grunt, and they recognized it, and they were like, "Is it just me?" Then, anyways,
yeah. Try to edit those out, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah. Anyways, how are you, man?
I'm good.
That's good to hear. That's really good to hear.
I am getting ready to do this Disney trip on Saturday.
I could not fucking remember what you had going on. I know you're about to leave.
Yeah, we're going to Disney for 4 days.
And I could not figure it out. Oh,
yes.
That's good.
Kim's son Cameron is here from Virginia. He's one in the Navy.
That's right.
Yeah, he's already here, so we've been hanging out. I think I'm going to get him in the Forge probably, I don't know, Thursday, Friday, something like that.
Good, I'll come over and ruin it.
We were debating what we were going to make, and he's the one that sent me the cable for the U.S. Navy officer sword build.
I remember that.
Yes. So he also sent me another piece of cable, which I've kept because I was going to make something for him, and I'm just lazy and haven't got around to it.
Jerid.
But he wants to make an axe. So I said, why don't we twist that cable, use it for cladding, and make an axe out of that? So I think that's what we're going to do. I'm not quite sure what the construction's going to look like yet, but I think we're going to figure it out.
Okay. Cool.
So, depends how much cable. We don't have that much cable, so it depends what we can forge out of it. So we'll make it work. We'll figure it out.
I just hit myself in the face with the mic. I'm shaking at me now.
There's definitely a joke there. But.
Oh yeah. Hey, yeah. Why are you holding it with two hands, you weirdo? No. Anyways, yeah. What's this?
So yeah, we're heading to Disney on Saturday, and then the first time in years since our wedding, we're going to have all the kids together. Her kids, my kids.
Oh, all of them.
All of them. Everybody.
Oh, that's cool.
Everyone's going to Disney.
Nice.
Oh, well, speaking of Disney, I got something that's just fucking annoying the shit out of me.
It's expensive?
This is exactly part of it.
Okay.
So on May the 4th, and this actually happens for a few weeks around May the 4th, on certain days, they kick everybody out of the park at 9, 8 or 9, might be 8, I don't remember. And they have like Star Wars nights.
Like a private event?
Well, yeah. You have to pay extra to get in. And I've looked it up online. Like, what do you actually get for this? What are the pros? And it's a pretty damn short list. And the tickets are $179.
Yeah, but there's less people in. Like my daughter and I, when we went in October, we were trying to get into the Ooga Booga Bash or some shit like that. It was the same thing. And it was sold out for like months and months ahead. So we didn't have a chance at doing it.
Yeah, but I wonder if they're selling tickets. Like, is it really? It didn't look, from pictures I saw online, it did not look like, there was fewer people in the park or any bullshit like that.
Well, I mean, there's selective few that spent that dollars. I mean, I wouldn't. I wasn't gonna do it. I thought I had a hookup to get it into it, but it didn't work out. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, no, yeah,
there's
it's.
like over 10 of us going. I'm not spending $2,000 for one
I
night.
was gonna say, man, they are endlessly creative with the way they get our money.
Yeah.
Hats off, but fuck off too.
Yeah. Yeah. And we talked about this before, but I'm surprised. I know it's coming. They haven't done the surge pricing yet.
Yeah.
Because Universal does surge pricing now. On days that are more popular, they'll charge more.
Yeah.
Disney, I can't believe, hasn't started that already.
How many days are you gonna be there?
3.
Are you doing 3-day passes for everybody?
Yes.
And that's cheaper per day.
I don't know. I didn't
Yeah,
think
it was.
so.
Yeah, it
It
was
didn't
like
feel cheaper.
no. I know. My daughter and I went for 2 days, and it was almost worth it to buy the 3-day pass. It wouldn't have. The delta wouldn't have been that much different,
Oh.
but it
I paid for them today with the lightning, because now lightning pass, you got to add on
yeah.
that. With the lightning pass, 2 tickets for $1,200 for 3-day passes.
Yeah. But I think the 2-day single park was like almost $400 or $500 a piece.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's not. It's a trip. But anyways, this is
it's
Disney
robbery.
problems. Yeah, it is. People pay it though. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And if it's not your thing, then don't worry about it. You'll never have to deal with it. Because I know there's a lot of fucking people like going, won't catch me there.
What's new with you?
Well, you know what? I literally just got home about 10 minutes before we signed on. I had the wonderful opportunity to go share a meeting at a 12-step meeting. And then I just got this crazy reminder that, higher power willing, Friday, if I don't get loaded or drunk in between now and Friday, potentially will wake up with 18 years clean.
Wow, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome.
I don't say that for the congratulations, but I say that to have this awareness for myself that I have been feeling a little extra squirrely. It's been like the past 2-3 weeks have been, there's got a lot going on top of all that stuff, but there is a like weird phenomenon about like when you creep up on an anniversary for being clean, like you tend to get a little squirrely. And I've been so wrapped up in my own shit, I didn't even realize that it was quite here as fast as it is. So, it was a a weird drive there after work, and kind of reconciled some things. I mean, that process was happening last week, but yeah, makes a little more sense to me. I think people like me, it's very common that happens. So I'm just glad to kind of put a little reason and rationale behind all the weirdness that's been going on. But
Yeah, you think it's that cyclical that you feel it every year?
100%,
Really?
100%. Yeah, it just things get weird. A lot of times it's the recognition of the upcoming date, and then you start to feel like, because for me, anyways, take you to a meeting right now. For me, it's really about. In the past, I would say that it's more about knowing that this date is coming up, and then if you're lucky, you get to recall what it was like prior, right? And then, but with that comes a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of remorse, a lot of, just the process of getting clean is super difficult. And I mean, here now, it's obviously been well worth it, but there's a lot of remorse for things and decisions that you've made, feeling regret from lost time, and have I got my shit together sooner, or never did it, or whatever. So there's a lot of that that goes along with that, but also just kind of feeling a little froggy and kind of off kiltered. But yeah, I don't know if there's a clinical explanation for it or if it's a phenomenon, but It's definitely been real for me. And I think ultimately, though, it ends in a humongous heap of gratitude for being here right now, being able just to say, that I have the potential to have put together. I don't know. It was like, I'll tell you right now, because the days, I'm not good at math, so I have an app, but the 6,571 days right now today. And I was just like, that's a lot of fucking days.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot of days of like this being the best I'm gonna feel all day long. That's one of my favorite lines. I have a buddy, Liberty. Every time I'll go on my clean date. There's about 10 calls that I make. Right, I have some people that help me the first couple times I didn't get clean. There's people that have helped me very much throughout the journey, both in recovery, personally, professionally. So I make a bunch of purposeful thank yous and appreciation acknowledgments of people that have helped me, whether they're aware of it or not. Like there's some people at work that they have zero idea. Like every year I tell them, hey, thank you. You've taught me a lot. They're like, what? I haven't done anything. I just, go to work. But by example and, a lot of things like, there's a handful of people there that have, like, I attribute to teaching me work ethic, like real work ethic. Like, you asked me 19 years ago that if I thought I was a bag of shit and didn't know how to work, I'd have probably punched you. But, I realized today that I was a bag of shit and didn't really know how to work. Right. It was all about like, what can I get and how to shortcuts and, but showing up early, doing just being reliable, showing up every day, like things that seem to escape a lot of people, I would say, in the work world today. It's amazing to me, especially being in management now. It's like, but I'll always go up to him and I say, hey, thank you, blah, blah. And he goes, man, every year. So it's been growing, but he's like, that's a long time to he goes, this is the best you're going to feel all day long. And I laugh, right? Because it's true. It's I don't get to go home and have a beer and get tilted. I mean, I could, but I choose not to. And
I don't know, that morning coffee. That's usually the best I feel all day.
see, but it's whatever it is. But I find it humorous and I appreciate that because there was a time when I didn't feel like this at all. Like, I mean, that was a purposeful attempt to never not be altered in some way, I'll say.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're in this state and
I appreciate it, man.
not
I appreciate it.
Not all messed up in the head.
You're not.
Well, you're still messed up in the head, but
I was
in a
going to
different
say,
way.
yeah, that's never going to go away. I just don't use Vine it anymore. So, but anyways, yeah, that was cool. It was good to go to a meeting because that's been a not a part of my life here recently too, which is tough. But I get to tell the truth, right? So I go up and there was 40 fucking people in this meeting today.
Is that a lot?
That's a lot. That's a big meeting. There's 40 people, and then you go up there and try to tell the truth on yourself about all the dumb shit you did and where you're at right now. It's like it's not common, and it's not like instinctual for somebody to just go, and say, "Hey, I have a problem with, accepting who I am," or I never fit in, or all these traits that are very typical amongst people in recovery. But yeah, and I was like, well, I haven't been to a meeting in a long time, so you shouldn't be listening to me right now. Don't do what I'm doing. Keep staying here. Your chances of staying clean are exponentially higher if you don't step away from the program for a while. But it's the truth. And like I said, it feels good. It was actually it was releasing to kind of get that kind of dirtiness that I was feeling about that particular situation off my chest. And but anyways, this is not a 12-step meeting, and I apologize for dragging you through that, but it is something
it's a big event.
I'm extremely, extremely grateful for the opportunity. It's not here yet, so we don't celebrate, no fronts. But chances are Friday will be hopefully a really, really good day and full of emotion. So I'm happy to do that. But it was a long ass day, and now we're here, and I got to look at you. So This
Hey,
is,
see,
this
your
is
day can get better.
this is the gift of recovery here. You don't.
See, you do feel better.
I do feel better. Yeah, this is great. But yeah, and then on top of that, and I'm just gonna hijack this whole podcast. Fuck off. The cool thing is that after, I don't know if it's on the heels of all this newfound awareness from today, but last week I do owe you a huge thank you, and I'll get to that. But I felt like a knife maker this week.
Nice.
I purposely had some attempts to get some things done, and
It was Kim's comment, wasn't it?
partially, no.
She's gonna want credit. Just
Yeah,
let you know.
she can. Yeah, that's there. I gave her a little extra when I hugged her, like, you motherfucker. Well, I realized I haven't seen her in a while too, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was good, and on, I think on was it Wednesday? So our buddy Sean, the knife guy, had hit me up a couple weeks back, and I guess it was a month or two ago, and was asking if he could use my laser to etch something into a knife. And I was, of course, anytime. And then I didn't anticipate on not having made anything in like a year, it feels like. So he hit me up about a week ago and was like, "Hey, I'm getting close. You got some time?" And I was like, "Yeah." But secretly, without saying anything, I was like, "Fuck, I don't want to, like pull the laser out, or figure it all out again." Like, it was going to be a process,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew it, and I had just got it back from you, and so I had this bright idea. I was like, well, "Hey, why don't I just use Denis, who's got this really fancy one that's really faster, and this will be a lot easier." So anyways, I convinced him. It was a funny thing though, because he's like, "Well, I don't want to, I don't want to, like, hassle Denis." And I'm like, in my mind, I was thinking like just follow me, dude. Like, I got this. Like,
Yeah, I don't mind at all. I don't know.
yeah, I know you don't, right? But not everybody has, our thing, and I guess people aren't used to, you being volunteered by some little beaner Mexican dude, at volunteering your time and stuff. And he's like, "I don't want to hassle him." I'm like, I literally text him, "Hassle? The fucking guy's retired. He doesn't do anything. Like, we're not." He's like begging for somebody to come over and see him now. But no, I appreciate it. I appreciate you helping us out, and got
No,
to
it was fun. It was fun seeing Sean. I hadn't seen him in a while, and
yeah.
He told him not to be a stranger and come over more often.
Yeah, it was cool. But we had originally I was kind of trying to tag it up with working on that handle,
Mm-hmm.
and for the thank you is that we went up there and did the thing, and then Sean left, and then we went back down to the shop. And if you guys don't understand, Denis is not like Mr. Emotion. And it's not his fault. This is not his speed, right? He's just doing his thing. Most people are like that. I'm probably
old school.
I'm the complete opposite, right? I'll talk about feelings every day. But I looked at him and I was just like, and he looked at me. He goes, "Bro, you look fucking like spent." And I was like, "Denis, this is what I tried to express to you every day when I'm telling you that I'm not feeling it, and like, I'm just whooped, and I didn't have it." And so we decided to just call it and go home. But the thank you is, I appreciate you recognizing that and not busting my balls, like calling me a bitch, or for.
No, I waited till you leave, till you left, and then I told you.
You did.
No, I've learned it is no good working on knives when you are not in the right headspace, because shit will go wrong, and then it will go wronger.
Wronger.
The more you push it, the more wrong it will go. So yeah, especially things that need concentration, like grinding.
Yeah.
There's a time when you just need to put it away and walk away.
And that's kind of been the episode, though. I've been up against just being. The only way I can explain it is like you're running at like max mental capacity for 10 hours a day of just on, and then you get off and you're like, I just don't want to fucking do anything. So I went home and went to bed. That's what I did that day. And then we tried again the next day.
Yeah.
And then I figured out that this process is extremely frustrating.
Lines are just not your thing. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's
No,
I'm used to different lines. All right, that's the thing.
to be fair, I'm pretty sure what messed us up. So okay, let's give people some context. So Jerid was working on this. It's your first hidden tang, right?
It is. Yep.
Yeah, first hidden tang, and it's a chef knife. And so we were trying to square up the block on the surface plate. You prop up the knife on a 1-2-3 block, you draw around it, lines. But the issue we had, which messed us up, is your ricasso is not flat.
Yes.
So I think we thought we had 2 parallel lines to square the block. I didn't actually look at those after we drew them. I just assumed, oh yeah, decent, because I didn't clue in that the ricasso wasn't flat. So we
because
had
that's your process, right? You always have a flat ricasso and those lines will be parallel and that'll work out.
Right. Because I'm doing a Bowie knife. Like there's always a plunge for that step. Or even in my chef knives, they're still pretty flat there. But yours weren't. So I'm making funny, or I was at the time, but I don't think it was your fault, because you were grinding to 2 lines that weren't parallel, expecting a block to be square.
Yeah. So what I did was I went and watched a bunch of videos after that, and I'm asking for people that do a lot of these type of builds. But what I did find, and after we clued in on that, a lot of guys take the block itself, find the center point on that, and then start drawing lines on the face of the block to square up from the center. And regardless of how your block is dimensioned, right, from when you find the center, then you can pull out calipers, draw some guidelines to get your block squared that way.
But the problem is that the hole, it's very rare that the hole you put in the block is truly square to the block. Unless you do it on a mill, that's the problem. That's why you can't go normally unless you bedded the tang and you made sure it was perfectly straight, because we didn't bed the tang. So the hole we drilled is almost never square,
right?
So then it doesn't matter how square your block is, the knife isn't square to the block.
Yeah.
So that's why we did that operation, to square the block to the knife after you have it seated in the hole.
But we didn't have a flat place to reference.
We didn't have a flat place to reference. That usually works like foolproof. But if you don't have 2 parallel lines, you can't make a square.
But but to add to some comedy here is, regardless of all that, after I'm looking at it, I'm like, this don't look right. And he's like, motherfucker, it's gotta be right. It's, we squared it to the And then I started grinding, and then I'm like, bro, there's something weird going on. And then he's like looking down the handle, and he's like, yeah, this isn't square. Like, what's the matter with you? Like, you can't grind a square. And I'm like, bro, I'm trying here. And I did realize that there's some visual, I guess, grinding basic type things. Because there was one time we were like, no, you just got to like tilt it here and bring that angle part down, and I just wasn't seeing it. Flat out wasn't seeing it. And I guess, like most things, there's a lot of knife making, but it finds a way to humble you and bring you back to like you're
practice.
Yeah, but I mean, on the same token here, and I'm gonna sound like a complete asshole and douchebag, but I see a lot of people doing this process, and I feel like, well, they could do it, I could do it. Like, why is this so damn challenging to me? And
well, I think if I had to analyze that, I'd say the lines being not parallel, you started grinding it wasn't getting square, then it's hitting your confidence, and then you're questioning everything,
Right.
That's where I think you were at. You were at
And
the
then you
point
go,
where,
then you just go, oh, what the fuck?
yeah, then
Now we're getting to a point where we're running out of room to work with here.
right, like to call back to my previous statement, wrong was getting wronger.
Exactly. No, yeah, touche.
But I think, yeah, what we should do is clamp some kind of like uh, whatever, a knife a file guide or something on that knife so that it was square, something so it was locked in and it was square, and
Yeah.
then put the handle on and then like sit that on the 1-2-3 block. You know what I mean? So you have a reference. You need a flat reference.
Right. Yeah. Well, if I don't completely botch it, we'll get to do it again.
Yeah.
And it won't be an $80 piece of koa.
How did that turn out?
It's fine.
First, tell everybody what happened, and
Yeah.
I'll give my commentary of what I would have done, but go ahead.
So I've had last week I was talking about I'm not tripping off of whatever happens for Blade Show, right? But I have an order that someone's been waiting on for a while, and I could not rationalize me working on other things ahead of that. So I put that one to the front, and it's pretty damn close. I think one more grid of hand sanding to do, but as I was getting close to the hand sand, I was like, I haven't even done the handle yet, right? So I was drilling the handle holes, and I normally
but it's heat treated, right?
It's heat treated.
Drilling them in the handle material.
Drilling them in the handle,
yeah,
in the actual handle material,
yeah.
So, but normally my process is I'll locate my pinholes, and then I will use a larger drill bit to drill weight reduction holes. Somewhere in this build, I don't know why, but I had two identical, like to my pinhole size, in very close proximity. And as I was just getting after, drilling the holes and setting up and everything, I drilled the wrong hole. I drilled one that was too far from the tang. And then I was like, well, shit. And then I had this conundrum where I was like, well, what do I do? Because, like I said, it was an expensive piece of handle material the customer had picked out. And so I called my buddy, and I was thinking about, making one of the back hole into a lanyard tube, or putting two pins, in close proximity to each other, which Denis, this is the one I'm bust your balls on.
Bust away. I still think it's wrong, but go ahead.
I don't care. No, see, wrong is not appropriate. Your liking is more like it, but Denis is not a very outside the box thinker.
No, your box is a round fucking hat box, okay?
It doesn't matter, man.
It would have looked goofy if you would have put two holes in the back, or two pins side by side, and one at the front. And I said, if you're going to do that, do two in the front and two in the back. Don't do one in the front and two in the back.
Yeah, we made all those jokes.
Yeah, we made those jokes too.
Don't
because it would look goofy.
But again, I say goofy is relative to someone's thing. Like, there could be a listener right now that's what they've landed on as their claim to fame, is two pins in the back,
sure,
and one in the front. And that's where I'm saying, like, there's that's where I'm busting your balls, because I remember there was a video you were doing back not too long ago, and you're like, you don't do that because that's just stupid. And I'm like, bro, you can't say that in your YouTube videos.
I'll say whatever the hell I want.
I'm like, that is so not cool, because that could be somebody's jam, and then that's not necessarily the most inclusive thing.
Here's my point of view on it. And yes, I'll be a little short sometimes, but I will tell you what most people would expect. And if you were to hand that knife with two pins, I'd say at least 6 out of 10, if not 8 out of 10 people will look at it and go, that looks weird.
Fucked up. Or you fucked up. Yeah.
Right. And they're going to be like, you fucked up. And why do you want to do that?
Well, yeah, I unfortunately for me is that I agreed with you on this particular situation. So the fix was easy. We just extended the length of the handle that I originally anticipated, and they're equally spaced. And
What do you mean you
um,
extended the length of the handle?
I pulled I where I had the handle fronts starting.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled that more towards the ricasso, and the spaces are equal.
Oh, okay, so you use the inside hole and then
Yeah,
yeah, okay, yeah.
there was nothing I could do. It's not in the best position, but where I
Uh,
would feel more comfortable with it being more towards the back of the handle, but it's gonna
but
be fine.
it doesn't look. I'm sure it
It's
doesn't look
symmetric. Yeah,
weird.
no,
There's some. It's more important that they're symmetrical than they're like spaced
yeah,
x dot y
right. And
inches
had it not
from
been
the.
heat treated, I could have added more holes and did
Yeah.
other things and easily so I didn't have any carbide drills. I would have had to stop and go see you, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I even offered you up some new koa, and you didn't want to do that. So
I really I can't express the process that we went through to get that block. Like it
oh
was one of the more immersive customer experiences that I've
oh you
allowed.
were
Like
on the website together looking at blocks.
I sent him to somebody, and like they looked, oh, I like this, and I found this piece, and I sent it to him, and he's like, oh, that's the one, and so, and the dimensions on the block when I split it, there's just not enough to make another set. They would have been super thin, so I was like, all
Mm,
right, I'm stuck right now. I actually had to use thicker liners than I normally do to get some extra thickness on it, but it worked out. But again, I just uh, making that simple mistake, turning, fixing that. I mean, because there's that adage that knife making isn't, good knife makers aren't really that great. They're just really good at fixing
yeah,
their minor mess ups and
yeah.
everything. So that was cool. But overall, it was good to just get after it and do a bunch of things. So I worked on that, and then I tried grinding on the Tobin jig.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I started that. It's good. I think I gotta make some adjustments on it for whatever reason. I think it's the relationship between the jig and my platen. I get a platen jig. I
Oh,
have like
nice.
a weird angle
Yeah.
on.
Pull up the two screws, and that thing will actually turn.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was trying to get it to where it would lock in and be square on both sides, but everywhere I moved it, it was just a little off. But I got it figured out, and
Mm.
but then I ran out of time and called it. But yeah, I did that, cleaned up the shop, so it was a good day.
Yeah, sounds like this is
Lot of hands
today.
on.
No,
This was
no,
Sunday,
Sunday. Yeah, yeah, of
and
course.
then,
Today's
yeah,
Monday.
and then Saturday I went to Jeff's and we worked on the press again. That was probably the most gratifying
I
of the
saw some
thing.
stuff on Instagram. I didn't get a
Yeah,
chance to review it all, but I saw holes drilled. I saw lots of holes actually.
a whole lot of holes. Our holes got holes. Like this is that was. I thought I drilled a lot of holes the last time I was there, but that was just in the little plates that we were making to hold the beams together. But this was the first time I was able. We didn't bolt it all up, but we have the uprights, columns, whatever you want to call them, the vertical structure. We have the top plate, the top beam, and the bottom beam. The racing bearings that we're using, those little sliding things that we're using for the dynamic jaw, we got those set, and kind of put it all together. At least this is the first time I've seen it almost whole. So all that's
Cool.
next is to, now the cylinders here, next time we get together we're gonna start fitting up the dynamic beam, and
When
really
you said dynamic beam, you mean
the
the
jaw,
head?
the one that moves the head.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's Jeff's calling it the dynamic beam. I like that term. So yeah, the piece that moves.
Sounds very scientific.
Yeah. Well, he's a fucking mad scientist in his own right.
Cool. Well, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, that was cool. I felt it's always good when for me, the worst part about the building stuff is this sounds really bad, but like the thought that it takes to plan the build, but
Oh,
then all of the small steps.
I got a
Yeah,
lot to say about that today later when I talk about my build, but yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Your the planning, the steps that it takes, and then putting all that together. But once you finally get to the point where everything starts to fit together, you're like, okay, like this is good.
Yeah. So what so you guys have the 4 up, like the square, the rectangle, okay, and you're gonna be working on the head. I'll call it
Just ahead,
the
fine.
head that
Yeah,
moves. So you gotta do the cylinder you have has, like, the clevis pins, like the
yep.
so you gotta do the at least at Jeff's shop, he'll have no problem drilling a big hole for that clevis
Bro,
pin and
he had speaking of that, like I walked past a drill that he has. It was the biggest drill bit I've ever seen. And he was telling
like
me
a
that
twist drill?
it's just a regular drill. It was like almost 2 inch.
Wow.
And I was like, that thing is just gigantic. And he's like, no, I have a 3 inch over in the back that we've used a handful of times. I'm like, good God. It was it was I mean, it was big. But yeah.
Yeah,
So we got a plan. That's one of those things where we gotta to figure out how we're gonna get that hole in and assemble it without running out of room. Um because it's gonna be predominantly bolted together. Um
what you're
how,
talking
how,
about is the tricky part, because when I
yeah,
put mine together, it was like, how do I do this so I can put the cylinder in, put everything together, but then get it out again if I ever need to
exactly.
fix it?
That's what he was. That's what we were discussing, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'm following that. But now that with the cylinders there, we can start actually visualizing and measuring, and and figuring that out. You could plan that all you want, but until parts are all there and you're
Yeah.
working on everything, you guaranteed to mess it up if you just.
Yeah, you can't do by. I made sure I had all of my parts together before I started, like, welding anything.
Yeah. But that's the part, because there's going to be a lot of welding that's going on. But if you think about it, we have the uprights
Mhm.
and then we have the beams. But what we're doing is we're we're going to have plates, like 1/2 inch plates in between the upright and the beam. So there's bolt that's going to be bolted to the upright, and then once we set all that up so everything lines up, and now we're going to weld the beam itself to those plates, so the beams will be one piece, removable, but they'll be secured by bolts to
I
the
see.
upright.
And then you have something that rides on the track of
And then we have
those.
something that
I get it.
they're called race bearings, or
Okay, so you use them as, like, guide rails, basically,
yeah.
for, like, a linear rail system,
Yep,
kind
they're
of.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
But they're like super high grade, and the way he was describing it to me is like these things actually work better with the more side pressure that's actually on them. They're like that's what they function a lot better when everything's compressed together, because I'm worried about this thing with the upward force. Am I gonna come off, if those things, that's the tricky part, is getting those slider parts on the rail. We have to get that squared up to
perfectly.
the
Yeah,
head. Yeah. Then
yeah.
once we get that locked in, then the up and down feature is going to be fine. And then as
Yeah.
we bolt everything and get everything together, it should um it'll actually get better the more tighter everything's put together. So yeah, it's a little tricky thing, but again, working with the material that we have, and that's the fun part about doing this. And
Cool. Well, I look
yeah.
forward to seeing it.
Yeah, and we're getting there. I got a name for it.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Come on, tell me.
The Sasquatch.
Okay, I like it.
Yes. I have a picture of it might be Harry from Harry and the Hendersons, but I haven't do it. But there's a couple of things my buddy's gonna do cut out a thing on the plasma cutter of of a Sasquatch. I have a video of one like peeking around with flipping it off. I'm gonna put that right on the head there. But yeah, that's what it's gonna be, the Sasquatch.
Very cool. Very cool.
I'm stoked about that. The toe crusher was not. I wasn't feeling that.
No, I don't think your wife would appreciate the reference.
But she told me something funny. She goes, because she never interacts with the things with the show,
right?
And I mean, it's a whole thing with my family and her. They're like, we get enough of you. We don't need to hear you all day long. And but she had laughed and put a couple of emojis and likes and stuff like that, because the show put your best foot forward. And I asked her, I'm like, so did you listen, or like did you hear my joke? Because I was kind of like, I'm gonna put my best foot forward. And she says, no, I read the transcript.
Oh,
and I started laughing so hard. I'm like, you don't want to listen to me that bad. She's like, I hear your ass enough. I just read the transcript. So I thought that was pretty funny. Which was weird because I forget that everything we say is fucking transcribed.
Yeah, I totally forgot. That's must be on. I guess they both have it, Apple and Spotify.
But you know what else though? I got a couple other things here, but you haven't talked a lot. But I did go on Maritime Knife Supply today and start to put together a pretty big order for some steel, because I need to do that. Running out of Damascus material, so I got my cart kind of where I want it right now. But if you are looking for any kind of knife making supplies, go check out our buddy Lawrence Lake at Maritime Knife Supply. He's got everything that you need. This was the first time I'd been on the site where I actually kind of dove through the folder section, which is really well put together. So good job on helping them out. And Lawrence kicked ass with the way that's all laid out. Really cool. But yeah, speaking of folder parts, abrasives, steel, tools of all kinds, whatever you need, Lawrence has got it. So make sure you go check it out and tell him that the boys at Triple T sent you.
Yep. Looking forward to seeing Mr. Lake at Blade Show in just over a month. You believe that?
What is it? 5 weeks?
5 or 6? Today's the 28th. Yeah. Or 29th when you guys hear this. Yeah. It's like 5 weeks. Yeah. Less than 5 weeks. Or 5 weeks exactly, actually.
Yeah, it's 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah. But I was not feeling as productive last week as I had hoped, because the week before everything seemed to go so quick starting up those folders, and they are actually in a really good spot right now, because they're all, the 3 folders I'm working on are all the lockups all working. You saw them.
Yep.
I actually, even after I ground all the bolsters clean and everything, but I'm kind of in I'm stalled right now because I'm waiting for the rest that I ordered for my disc grinder. Because I have tried doing, I have done bolsters, the flat part of the bolster that meets the scale.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that on the plant and fucked it up before. And it's like, I thought it was flat, but then went to put the scales up against it, and then there's gap. Because they weren't actually flat. So I'm waiting to use the disc grinder on that one. So that's okay. I really needed to focus back on the dagger, which I am making some progress on.
That thing goes horizontal and vertical, but there's no rest.
There's no rest.
There
will be.
Gotcha.
There will be. But the and what you were talking about earlier about, you get to a step in a build that, for me, like you say, when you're designing, you're thinking, and like I'm at the, like, or was for the last 2 weeks, kind of at the overthinking stage of this dagger.
Right.
Like, I'm at the point of like, I need to do the actual keyhole part, like grind the keyhole out of the back of this dagger and grind some of it and just get it to that point. And I have to grind that keyhole, grind the basic bevels in the dagger, and then heat treat, because obviously I have to, it has to be heat treated when I push the wood in, because you're done at that point, right?
Right.
So I have this, like, call it analysis paralysis or whatever. Like, I'm like, it's this reluctance on a difficult step to the point where I just don't want to do it because I'm afraid of, like, a difficult step.
You're speaking my language right now, buddy.
Right. So I finally broke down this morning, and I drilled the hole, right through. Not, I'm making a motion, not this way, but this way for the quillions, because the quillions are drilled and tapped into the sides. So I did that, and somehow I got that on an angle. And then I proceeded to spend 2 hours back and forth with the induction forge, tweaking the blade and the handle to get that fucking hole lined up, and I had to twist the blade to match the. Anyway, it was a whole ordeal. There was some cursing going on, but finally got that fixed, and that kind of just gave me a kick in the ass to do the actual keyhole, which I ended up doing on the mill, and it was super easy. It took me like an hour, and it's at the state now. I'm just gonna do some basic bevels, and then I'm gonna heat treat this thing, and then
do the task you're afraid to do.
Yeah, I did the task I was afraid to do, which was I'm not afraid to push the wood in it. I'm almost assuming this is not going to work the first time, but whatever. I'm gonna hope I get lucky, and we'll see. But it's coming along.
And you didn't do this same process on the last one?
No, because on the last one, I literally filed a piece of wood, and I checked it and filed it and checked it and filed it. Gotcha. And it took me the better part of a day because it had to be removable. It was not pressed in. This one is never coming out once it's pressed in.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Well, you're human.
But now I'm at the point where, I'm sometimes things get so hard, and I look at it and I'm like, I'm just going to put it away for a while because I don't want it to get more wrong.
I'm curious if anybody else feels this way, but like, I think that's one of the more admirable things that about you, I guess, is that, like, most of the time you're pretty fearless about doing things you haven't done before. Like, there's a large part of or a great part of the channel that is about, I'm going to try this because I've never done this,
yeah.
And you've been successful in making it look at least doable. I don't know. I haven't really heard much trepidation behind a process.
Which you guys don't see is like me lying in bed, not being able to sleep.
Thank God we don't see
the night before, literally going over it in my head, over to the point where I'm like pissed off because it's 3 a.m. I haven't been able to sleep yet.
Right.
And I have to get up at 6 or 7 or something like that. And I barely get any sleep, but
if you get up at 6, dude, geez, what's wrong with you? It's a family show.
But you guys don't hear about all of the sleepless nights and the how am I going to do this and all the thinking. But maybe it appears fearless, but there's a lot.
You do generally. I mean, there's been a couple mess-ups, but you're pretty good about hiding the mother F's in the middle of the videos. But
occasionally they sneak past.
Yeah. But shit, go ahead.
I did have a class this weekend, and John was a student I had who was actually from Sacramento, which was nice, someone local.
Nice.
He did well. We started with the typical forging, and of course, we used the 2 Basterds straight peen hammer, which he loved.
It's called a fat peen.
Well, the type is a straight peen. But
it's called a fat peen.
And I turned him on to that. I don't know how much forge. He seems like he wants to be more of a stock removal guy, but you never know what.
Stay with it, John.
But if you guys need yourself a forging hammer, Or I'll say a hammer. Doesn't even have to be a forging hammer, because he pointed out the little pin setting hammer that when I first got, I told the story. I was like, what am I going to do with this? I use that thing all the time, all the time, especially on the folders. So I love that thing. But if you guys need a hammer, go check out Frank and Nita over at Two Basterds, Texas Smithy and Supplies. Get yourself a straight peen, cross peen, dog head, you name it. He'll set you up and get you all your hammering needs solved, because, Jerid, that's your cue.
Ain't it grand to have a fat peen in your hand?
Even if you have a round peen, you'll...
Did you? No, you wouldn't say a brown peen, right? You said
I said round peen.
Are you sure?
Maybe you have a round brown peen. I don't know.
Some of you got what you got, man. Whatever color it is, it's not up to Frank. That's for sure. Oh yeah, and it looks like this weekend will be the first Lost Bastards Hammer In. I'm not sure if there's any tickets left, but if you were lucky enough to get in on that, they're gonna have a nice Hammer in Gainesville this weekend. A lot of cool people going to be there. You got Micah Dunn, Sarah Hubbard, Terry Dunn, Eric Rivers, Neil Warren doing some demos. So I'm looking forward to seeing some social media content on.
And that's Gainesville, Texas, right? Not Florida.
That is Texas, yes.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we off to here? One more thing about that class. Something that when I was at Dave Lish's, he said, he told me a really interesting thing, and I actually started doing it in my class. Two things I started doing. One is recording a little video after the class, which I still need to post on Instagram, about, a little interview kind of thing, a quick little 30 seconds with the student, ask them how the class went. Okay, that I took away from his class, totally stealing that. The other one is when Dave has a class, he kind of incorporates it where if he teaches a 5-day, make a buoy class in 5 days or whatever it is, he's making a knife. So at the end of the class, he's getting paid for the class, but he also comes out with a finished knife. And then I said to myself, well, how come I'm not doing that? Like, I will kind of I'll make a knife along with the students because I want to show them step by step. But usually I ditch it halfway through, and then I end up, demoing the small little pieces on their knife. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. So I finished this class with a totally finished knife.
Oh, cool.
Which was cool because it didn't take any extra time for me. I was still teaching the class, and now I finished the class with a knife that I can sell at Blade Show. So that's going to be my MO from now on.
Nice. So you're going to put more effort into your knife than your students. That's really cool of you.
No.
So I have to finish. This is going to be. No, I think that's a really cool idea because I think one of the, I'm guessing, I don't know this because I've never done a class, but I think one of the hard parts about or one of the challenges I think that is presented when you are teaching a class is resisting the temptation to pull the piece out of the student's hand and doing it for them.
Yeah.
I have worked with a lot of people. Some are less. That's one of the things that I do appreciate about all the times that we've done is that, there's been a handful of times where I'm just like, just fucking do it. Like, quit fucking telling me, just show me what you do. But I appreciate the fact that you don't ever do anything for me. Right. So there's some times, I guess, when you're in the time crunch with, that you're in a class that might be necessary. But having the ability to show and demonstrate what you're trying to show to them that doesn't affect their piece, I think that's a really good idea.
And it's nice because I can, I can show them on my knife, and they look at mine, and they're, yeah, and okay, I'm not patting my ego here, but of course, my knife tends to look better than the one they're making. So it's like they have something to strive to as well.
Sure.
So, but yeah, it came out nice, and I used that segmented handle that I did in the Triple T video last month or the month before or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which came out beautiful. So shined up real nice. So I was happy with it.
Very cool. Speaking of one of your students there, I got a message from Steve Lockhart
Oh,
today. You had brought up that he had a jig that you thought would work good for me, with the angled plunges on the rest or something like
yes,
that. Anyways, he
yes.
was very kind to reach out to me, and um, so he's put something together, and was following up because I should be going back to Washington in the next couple weeks. I haven't quite figured that out, but he was asking if I was going to be there, and he messaged me this morning during work, and I haven't got back to him. So I just texted him or messaged him right now and told him I'm recording the podcast, and I just remembered about this, so I'm going to tell you your answer here. So just give him a shout out and say I don't know yet. So hang tight. But
And when you go, are you close to Portland? When you
yes, I'm like a stone's throw from Portland.
Oh yeah, because he's like a stone's throw from there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
like
you're saying. So he
yeah,
says he's going to hook up with me
yeah.
while I'm in the area. So I haven't quite finalized that trip though. So, but if I don't do it, then I'll let you know. And
What
I'm
you
in no
what
I'm
you
in no
should
rush.
do, is beg him to take you fishing. If you get an extra day there, see if he'll take you fishing.
Well, Dennis, I'm pretty good at working in things that benefit me more than anybody else. But yeah, no, I would love to do that. That's something. I just the problem with that trip though is like I have I'd have to time it in with getting a day to make that happen, right?
Yeah.
So it's really just like I'm there, work, and then I'm gone. It's such a quick trip, but I do plan on trying to do that, and then working in somehow trying to get up a little north to go see Noah or some, one of the bunch of makers that are up that way.
If
Because
Noah didn't live in the middle of fucking nowhere, I would have gone to see him when I was up there. But it was
yeah,
like a 3 hour drive, and
it's like 6 or something stupid from where I'm at from Vancouver. So
yeah, oh yeah, it'll be
and
yeah.
I ain't driving in
We love you,
snow
Noah,
and
but just not that much.
yeah, not in the winter, that's for sure. I'm all for nice mountain summer drives, but that's
Yeah,
it.
maybe next time.
Yeah, and then also I wanted to shout out, well, not shout out, but bring up one of our other sponsors, Travis Haynes from Pelican Paste. If you're in the market for some premium wax, go check out Travis Haynes at Pelican Paste. He's got that hard wax, soft wax, Pelican oil, hand solve, soap, um, custom tins for your orders. He's got it all. But I don't know why I feel extremely. I'm happy for him. He's got a table this year at Blade Show, and he just dropped some new shirts and a design. I am freaking digging it. Have you seen it yet?
No.
Oh, pull it up right now. It's the thing
What
is
am I looking for?
just go to Pelican Paste um, or Travis, but the logo on this shirt design is just freaking badass. I'm totally digging it. I gotta get me one. Travis, save a very large one because I'm a small guy.
I'm at his site, but I don't see. I'm not seeing it.
I don't know how to do this without
Do I have to go to
wasting all this
merch or something?
podcasting time. He said it's on his website too, so
That's
maybe
what I'm
that.
on. I'm on his website.
Yeah,
Catalog.
they're available.
Well,
There's an Instagram post too on Pelican Paste.
oh, is it the one with? Yeah. I just saw it.
Yeah,
That's very cool. It's like
it's
steampunk pelican.
yeah, exactly. That's what he's, yeah, scientist mad scientist steampunk.
Very cool. Yeah, I need one of those. Travis, I need an XL. Reserve one for me.
That's right. Add an X for this tank. But yeah, go to pelicanpaste.com, fill up that cart with all your waxy needs, and use the discount code T10. That's TTT10 for 10% off your next purchase.
Hey, well, since we're talking about sponsors, I'm going to tell you a true story. So I'm was working with John, and like, yeah, stock removal. He thinks he's going to be stock removal guy. Like the forging, he said was fun, but it's probably not something he's going to do. And I said, well, here, I'm going to show you some steel that you should be interested in. And I pulled up the Baker Forge website, and I went to whatever one the Gomai, Kushim, and Diamond and Raindrop is what they have now. So that I think that came up first on the website.
Yep, that's the drop this week.
Yeah, and I showed him that, and then I showed him the Ripple, and he's like, "Holy shit, that is beautiful!" And I said, "Yeah." And then I scrolled down to the price, and it was like $250 for like a bar, and he could not believe how cheap it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't even mention the Triple T. The Triple T 10. He could have got 10%. He didn't buy any yet because he's not there yet. But yeah, go get yourself some Gomai, Kushim, and Raindrop in Diamond and Raindrop and any other of the wonderful patterns that the boys at Baker Forge are dreaming up right now.
That's right.
And while you're there, get yourself some Gator Piss and get your pre-order of Gator Piss Max and Gator Piss Heavy. We use the heavy on our knives because we were actually here's a promo for the Gator Piss Heavy. We were actually making knives out of 15 and 20 because they just happen to have 1/4 inch 15 and 20 that I figured out we'll just use that. The heavy turned that stuff black.
Nice.
Even though it's got nickel in it, turned it black, stonewashed it. You would swear this was 1084.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The knife that we etched, I got to redo it because there was some decarb on the spine. But I was fitting up the handles. One of the other things I was kind of working on this weekend. And it wasn't black because I think this is AEBL. But it was a different shade of dark that I just haven't seen it. But I'm super stoked because I fit up the handle, and the handle's not buffed yet, but the multicolored G10 that I have, I'm pumped about how this is going to come out now.
Nice.
Like, because AEBL, I haven't figured out how to etch that to my liking, and ferric, it always comes out less dark than I want, but I'm really pumped about the way this one's going to look. So yeah, when you guys get it, you're going to be stoked, and that's pre-order is happening now, so make sure you get in on that and get a bunch of bars like John's about to, and use the discount code T10 for 10% off your next purchase.
Do it.
That works.
And actually, I will say John found me because he went to Housemade because he bought a grinder off Brian, then started looking at the sharpening attachment, which led him to me, and then realized he was already watching my videos, and then reached out to me and asked me, I forget what he asked me, and then said, "Hey, do you teach classes?" and down the line. So small community, folks, but yeah, word gets around. It was good.
Yeah, that was cool. I almost stopped by on Friday. I got out of that's been my MO lately, is working 10s and 12s during Monday through Thursday, and then on Friday, because there's no traffic. Oh, dude! And by the way, so I get up early, and a lot of times I lollygag around and try not to rush in the morning because that's never a good recipe for my mood. Just getting up late, rushing, being all cranky, and then jumping on the road and sitting in traffic. It's not a good recipe for how my day is going to go. But on Friday's traffic, they call Friday light. It's like there's no traffic at all. But I got up, and I was just like, I'm just going to go in early. So I'll get in there around 6, and then I leave right at 2:30 and get a little jump on the Friday traffic. Going home is not Friday light, just in the morning. But I left, and I think there's about 4 or 5 people that live out over here in this neck of the woods. They all got stuck in a major accident and didn't get to the office until like 8:30 or 9.
So it's good you
I was
left
about
early.
a half hour, beat them by like a half hour. I mean, that would have pissed me off to just lollygag around, and then try to get in early to get out a little early and get stuck there. But so I was coming through at like 2:45ish, 3:00, and I was like, I'm gonna swing. Nah, fuck those guys, I'm out. And I just ended up going home. But when I called you, I knew he was gonna be there, so I made sure to talk extra down to you.
Yeah, you should stop by Friday because Cam will be hopefully finish off Cam's axe. So and I'd like you to meet him.
Yeah, one of these days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll swing by for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. I got my billet from Micah Dunn, MD Edgeworks. The feather came, so although I want to throw that in the mix ahead of some things. But you're gone this weekend, so that's gonna help my case a little bit. But I want to forge that feather.
Hold on. Is it the feather? Is that what
It's
it is?
The feather, yeah.
Okay, so you just have a block of feather. You need.
Yeah, he stretched it a little bit, but it's I have some work to do on the forging. But both you and Ann, everybody recommends though, like if you're gonna, the feather looks 100 times better if you forge that the tip in and everything. So I want to do that and try it.
It will.
So, but I got to pump my brakes and not start another project until I finish.
I know it's hard.
other stuff, yeah. But thank you, Micah. I got it. I didn't even reach out to him to say thank you yet, but there you go. Here's your kisses and hugs. Thank you, bro.
All right. Shall we do some maker spotlights?
I think so.
All right. I'll go first. I know we've done this one in the past, but I'm going to call out Cody Santos, really because he and I had a great call. I told him, I know he's working on his journeyman knives, and I told him, hey, give me a call. Let's review what you got. He had some questions he wanted to ask me, and I said, sure, let's just do a video call. We had a great call. I think he's definitely on his way. I mean, he's the one advice, the main advice I give him. He's got all 5 knives. The blades are actually done. They're at the different levels of hand sanding in the blades. And I'm like, you need to get 1 or 2 of those to completion and show them to a couple of master smiths before you get too far into the others, in case there's a mistake that you're making that you don't know about. Don't make this, because that's one thing that will fail you, is if there's the same mistake on multiple knives. But so far he's looking great. And I saw right before this an Instagram of him working on a guard, and the fit up looked amazing. So I have no doubt he's going to pass. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing you, but you're going to.
He's going this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's up in the air because it's pretty tight. He's only got 4 weeks. I mean, he's got all the 5 of the knives he thinks are done, and he's just got to do guards and handles and finish work. But that can be, he's not working on these full time, right? He's got a day job, so hopefully he makes it in time. I think he'll push it at the end.
Cody's my dude.
He's a good dude.
I really, really, really like him. We chat. I would say we're both very similar with our gigs being full, but pretty regularly we'll text back and forth, and they've been since we met him at Makers Camp a couple years back.
Yeah.
My hope was to test with him. And if he does do it, I'm pushing for him, pulling for him. But if he doesn't, then hopefully we'll get to be in the same class here next year, because think that's going to be my goal. But his yeah, a great dude, great work. Just appreciate the hell out of Cody. I'm glad that he reached out and you guys had that chance to talk. That's cool. Good dude.
Nice. Hey, wait. We're going to back up a bit. Did I just hear you've never mentioned a date to me before? Did I just hear that you have your eyes set on 2026 to do your journeyman?
I do. That's
nice.
Yeah. I have that zero intention.
Right. I've never heard you even mention that before.
I haven't want to, but I'm a little motivated to try to turn some stuff around this next year. But yeah,
nice.
That's what I said. Now I also wanted to do one of these local knife shows or fairs here last year. That didn't happen, so we'll see. But yeah,
you're gonna have to get on some. It's all hidden tangs, or integrals,
which I love integrals that I've never done. So yeah, but yeah, no, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well,
pushing for you, buddy. I got hustles too. That's impressive because he just went through a pretty big deal with some testing or something he was doing for certification. And
that's right. Job, yeah, we talked about that too, guys.
So
got a bunch of work stuff going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping he does finish the knives in time, and we get to see, we'll see him at Blade Show anyway. Oh, one thing that when I tested, now my memory's not the best. Maybe I'm getting old, but I am 99.99% sure when I talked to, I thought it was the ABS guys. Maybe it was the Blade Show, but that whether you needed a table or not to test. And I am 99% certain that someone, I don't remember who it was, told me that yes, you have to have a table. You can share a table with another person testing, which is the only time you can share a table at Blade. But I'm pretty sure someone told me you have to have a table in order to test.
Interesting.
And then I told Cody that, and I thought, even while I was saying it to him, and I'm like, I think it's weird because how would they ever know?
Right.
Because you don't have to put your table, you just walk into the room and you put your knives down. Like they don't ask what's your table number. So I thought
that seems like a racket, dude.
That
seems like a racket.
Well, here's the second half. So he calls the ABS and they say, no, there's no affiliation with Blade Show. You don't even have to pay to go to the show because it's not at the show. It's at the hotel.
It's at the hotel. Yeah.
So yeah, there is no requirement to have a table and pay to go to the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a racket, dude.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was a racket. I was getting a table anyway, but
right.
I'm gonna ask Rick what he thought because I think he got a table for that reason as well.
He also got somebody to shave their arm off too, so double the value. It's probably one of my favorites. I just wanted to see how sharp it was. Well, you fucking found out, didn't you?
Yeah, he's not a man you want to piss off either.
Dude, no way. I love that guy.
All right. So who's your maker spotlight?
So this weekend, what was I doing? I was watching going through YouTube, and I think I was watching.
You're cheating on me.
Yes, 100%. For it's like some good content, No. Jesse Hugh.
I don't know.
Hugh.
Who's on Jesse. First?
Yeah. The kid that's won all the Forge and Fires.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
You're going
what?
Total digital on me right now.
Oh, well.
I said the kid that's won all the Forge and Fires.
I know who he is.
Yeah. So watching his channel, which I like, and he was making a big ass buoy or something like that, and he had mentioned this guy. So I went and looked him up, and so my spotlight today is, where the hell is his name? I'm going to butcher this. Jocko van die Bruinhorst.
Yeah, you did butcher.
I have no idea how to say that for real. I can't even make up an accent because I don't know where it's at. JVV Knives. And so I looked at his YouTube channel. Fantastic. A lot of good stuff. And then I wasn't following him, so I jumped over to his IG page, and I was just absolutely wowed by how much awesomeness this dude is doing. And that's what I wanted to shout him out. So that's that dude's name, Jocko, JACCOVANDEBRUINHORST, and it's Jocko van die Bruinhorst. Obviously,
Jaco
that's how you
van
spell it.
Vendebrunhorst.
Horst. There you go.
Horst.
There you go. See,
I've been following him for a long time. In fact, his video on the keyhole, the keyhole hunter, is very, very informative. That's the one that I'm using as, a recipe on how to do the keyhole. Is his video, because he's got a lot of little techniques like microwaving the block of wood and heating up, like certain little steps that I've heard other people, like Justin has referenced his videos as well on how to do keyholes.
yeah. And then, so yeah, he's got plenty of followers, 24,000 damn near followers on IG, has a YouTube channel. So and I'm looking at it, and I think it's saying that 160 plus mutual people follow him already. So you probably already are, and I'm just late to the game. But if you're not, make sure you go check him out. Check out that YouTube channel. A lot of cool stuff. And he was just here in Solvang last weekend.
I know, and it's crazy because he's from Canada. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, I did not expect he was going to be at Solvang.
Yeah. Is that an invitation show?
No,
That's not. Okay.
no, anybody can go.
Gotcha.
I actually heard it was not well attended last year. I know a
That's what I heard. Yeah. So
few
I
people
haven't heard
bailed
much
this
about
year.
it.
So
I
I
haven't
don't.
heard about it this year.
Yeah,
No, Seth was there, I think, the year before. I don't know if he was there this time. But yeah, yeah, that kind of deterred me from even entertaining going down there this time. But what was
it's.
I going to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just say it's the Solvang show is kind of bad timing, because it's like a month and a half before Blade Show.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're not going to Blade Show and have a table, there's no way. I mean, unless you have a shit ton of stock, there's no way I would have enough stock to go to both shows.
Right.
So I'd like to go to the Solvang show just to see it, but
it's for us. It's, if you guys are even caring, it is just far enough away to not be
convenient.
convenient. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was within 4 hours, I would say, yeah, you could probably even swing a freaking day trip out there or something. That wouldn't be fun, but either. But the area is supposed to be really nice, and I've never actually been.
I've heard that it's a really pretty area.
Yeah. But I didn't do it. But one thing, I was watching his video, and he was making some Damascus, and he heated it up. He has a power hammer where he was setting the welds. But I was just telling you this before we started recording. This dude, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, because obviously there's not. But from what I saw in the video, he was in out of the forge into the power hammer, wailing on this thing. Boom, 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 boom. Drew it out first. And then he was hitting on the sides. Like, I was amazed at how aggressive he was while he was drawing, setting the welds, and then like how quickly he went to drawing it out. For me, with the experience that you and I go through with the press, we tend to
3 heats.
have 3 heats of just kind of tap setting the welds a little bit, and then we'll get moving on the billet. But I understand the press is exponentially faster all the way around. But yeah, it was a trip for me to see him just like set the welds, and then I was like, it was boom, 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 and then he started squishing it, drawing it, and then he was on the sides all in the first heat. I was like, geez, that seems
Yeah. Salem is the same. He's got that power hammer with the huge dies. He can set the weld on his power hammer and just go to town. And he can do things on the power hammer that you can't do if you don't have, he can do things that you can't do on a press.
when I was with in Texas with Micah, he actually was pretty aggressive on the first heat in that feather billet that we made. And I didn't say anything until a couple hours later, but because I was just like, ooh, like it's not what I'm used to doing. And I asked him about it, and he goes, "Yeah, I think he's like." I was kind of a way more aggressive than I normally am, but apparently it's not the end of the world as long as you're pretty confident that you get that thing set. But I'm just really used to set, go back, set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of, I think, a superstition at this point in the process that I'm accustomed to from forging with you. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. So, but that was a trip though. When I was like, oh God, that's not gonna. It worked out just fine.
There is something to be said, like after going to the class with Morocco, and I'm not saying what Yako does is not this, but being like forging, like not going all hog wild in one direction.
Yeah.
Like before you true up the sides, like making sure you forge in both directions evenly, like horizontal, vertical, like rotating the billet. Because if you get it too far, like hourglassed or bulged, it starts to really affect your pattern.
Distort it. Yeah.
It distorts your pattern a lot. So keeping it square, which means maybe like smaller bites rotating, is actually good for the billet. And when I look at, do you know Elliard? I forget, Jason Elliard? Ellard, I think. Anyway, he does some amazing Damascus, but he does everything on a fly press. And I
is
think
that the guy the manual one?
Yeah. And I think it actually contributes to how even and how very symmetrical his patterns are, because everything is slower because he's using a fly press.
Gotcha.
So his Damascus doesn't look as distorted as others that I've seen or others that I've done. And I think a lot of it is just because he's going slower, which something to be said for not getting yourself in a hurry.
Nice. Yeah, I think you featured him not too long ago.
I did. Yeah. He's a rock star when it comes to Damascus too.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, those are our deal for the Maker Spotlight. And then before we get out of here, last but not least, we got Matt over at Rock Solid Sales, maker of the Grip Tech handle material, as well as a bunch of other epoxy stabilized woods. If you're in the market for some different type of handle material that has a little extra grip, go check
Grip
out
it and rip it.
Go check out Matt at Rock Solid Scales. Fill up that cart and get that discount code TTT10. That's TTT10 for 10% off. And after we run through all of these awesome sponsors of ours, I'm getting more and more excited about seeing everybody at Blade Show.
Yeah, I was just thinking that I don't think I've ever met. I know I've never met Matt, so I'm looking forward to meeting him this year at Blade Show.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people over there in the small room.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Mr. House will be over there. I think Travis is over there too.
Travis,
yeah. They're having their own little party over there.
Yeah, be some good stuff.
Yeah.
Rob's normally over there.
He's
Ikoa's over there. There's all kinds of people.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll be spending more money than I should.
Yeah.
You would think the handle, like the wood handle collection, would actually, not increase proportionally more than the knives that I sell, but apparently it does. I buy 10 times as much handle material as the knives that I actually make.
I can't say no. I just can't stop myself.
I know. I admit it. I have a problem.
Yeah.
Isn't that step one on the
It is, sir.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I have a problem.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's about the only one you're going to get to, though.
It's been 120 days since my last purchase.
Yeah. There's a dude I don't know, he's been popping up in my reel in my feed lately, but he's like probably like an in-shape guy, and he stands in front of the thing and he goes, "It's been 1 day since I've eaten a cookie," and then it'll like flashback, "It's been 30 minutes since I've eaten a cookie," like, and he keeps doing this over and over and over in the reel. I don't know why, but I find it hilarious. So that's kind of what I should do. It's been 1 day since I purchased animal material. It's been 30 minutes since I purchased animal material.
I said 128 days, but I am a liar because I bought that ironwood for the frame handle buoy last month. So
Yeah,
I'm a liar.
yeah. Yes, you are. You're a big fat liar. So yeah, beautiful sponsors: Maritime Knife Supply, Two Basterds, Baker Forge and Tool, Pelican Paste, and Rock Solid Scales. Thank you guys for your support, and yeah, show your support by going and getting a bunch of stuff from those beautiful people.
That's right. They got all the best stuff, and they have each other's stuff. So go get some stuff.
Even better. Yes.
All right.
Did you do a Triple T? I don't watch them.
I did the actually, thanks to our friend Brent, Bald Man. He sent me a link to that holder to do small knives, or knives that are very hard to hold in the typical Wen or Tormek holders. So they have a holder that will actually hold a knife by its handle. So you can, even if it's got a really narrow blade, or it's, say, a dagger or something that doesn't have a flat spot, great holder. So I was just demoing that in conjunction with the Perfect Blade sharpening attachment. So,
bro, I completely missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it now. Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's a cool little holder, and they're not not crazy expensive. And if you do a lot of small knives that are hard to put into a holder, if you do that type of sharpening, go check that out, and consider buying one, because it'll help you out. Parker's been bugging me to sharpen this butterfly knife that he has, but it's one of those.
That's the one I see there.
Yeah, it's got like a dual bevel, and it's really hard to center in the holder. So now I can put it in this other holder and shut them up.
Very cool. Shut up, Parker.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, this is an exceptionally long one out of nowhere.
So, I got one more announcement.
Oh.
As of today, when you guys are hearing this.
You're retired?
No. I should have a little American flag, because I'll be a American citizen.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning is, which is Tuesday, is my naturalization ceremony.
Bro, if you don't send me a video of you crying, it is not okay.
Apparently the whole ceremony is like 4.5 minutes, so I don't think there's even going to be time to cry, but
bro, just work something up. Come on.
I'll bring some onions.
Something. Just have some pride. Just, God. America. Well, congratulations.
I'll bring a gun.
Yeah. I will send ice over to your house tonight. Get you out of here.
All right.
Okay.
That's all.
Let's go.
Talk to you later.
Later, man. You won't be here next week, so fuck off.
I will not. I'm
Come on.
I am stiffing you guys with Jerid.
You can't say stiffing.
I can say stiff. I'm giving you all a stiffy.
Yes. That's a wrap.
Boring.
That's a wrap.
You're an ass.